Jonathan Fowler is the spokesperson at UNRWA, and he joins me now from occupied East Jerusalem. Thank you so much for taking the time, Jonathan, to come on the News Hour today. UNRWA, your organisation, estimates that 1 million plus people have now been displaced from Rafah, many of them again. What are the conditions like in Rafah right now, and what about for those people who have left?
Well, the conditions, this is sort of concentric circles of misery for displaced people in the Gaza Strip. We need to remember that the population of Rafah before the start of this war was around 6 times less than it actually swelled to when it reached about 1.4, 1.5 million, because people had been displaced multiple times, from north to south and sort of back and forth in the Gaza Strip. On average, once a month, displaced people have been displaced in the Gaza Strip, and the population of Rafah was much greater than it had been before the start of the war, and 1.4 million, and of those, around 1 million people have left. So these are people who've got nothing to take with them. They're in an absolutely miserable situation. The conditions on the ground for those who remain in Rafah are absolutely awful as well. And the possibility of getting food aid, shelter materials, and so on, medical supplies to people who've been displaced en masse at a very high rate, it's almost impossible. And this means that the risks to human health, hunger, and so on are rising.
And Jonathan, since October the 7th, you at UNRWA have faced really significant challenges. You've had funding cuts, you've had facilities and buildings damaged and destroyed, you've had staff killed, you've had problems getting aid in. If you compare the level of services and aid that you were delivering prior to October the 7th with what you're actually able to deliver now, how does it compare?
Well, it's difficult to make that kind of comparison because, of course, before the start of this war, we were not operating in a humanitarian crisis of this scale. I mean, we had large numbers of the population of the Gaza Strip because of the blockade there, who were relying on food aid. But frankly, what has happened is that at a time when our operations have been increasingly constrained, the level of need has been spiraling. So it's like that equation is impossible to square, and this is why the humanitarian disaster has reached the scale that it has.